no longer acceptable for us to hide from ourselves. It is time for us to rise, and it is time for us to rise together. In a poem by Jong, in a book called Witches, there is one that is befitting to be shared at Samhain, which is the 31st of October, when the summer harvest ends and autumn officially begins, the preparation of the land for the winter that is to come, and then brings spring and summer all over again, because it's all cyclical, it's all recycling. And for those who died, on November 11th we remember all those who died for war. Well, this is for all those who died. For all those who died, stripped naked, shaved, shorn. For all those who screamed in vain to the great goddess, only to have their tongues ripped out at the root. For all those who were pricked, racked, broken on the wheel for the sins of their inquisitors. For those whose beauty stirred their torturers to fury. For all those whose ugliness did the same. For all those who were neither ugly nor beautiful, but only women who would not submit. For all those quick fingers broken in the vise, for all those soft arms pulled from their sockets, for all those budding breasts ripped with hot pincers, for all those midwives killed merely for the sin of delivering man to an imperfect world, for all those witch women, my sisters, who breathed freer as the flames took them, knowing as they shed their female bodies the seared flesh falling like fruit in the flames, that death alone would cleanse them of the sin for which they died, the sin of being born a woman, who is more than the sum of her parts. We are more than the sum of our parts. We are so much more than the meat suit our soul chose to incarnate into this world in. And yet, as women, we have a divine opportunity to merge the mother and father within ourselves, to be able to bring the masculine and feminine together, unite them. A house united is stronger. Be strong within ourselves in order to come into this imperfect world stronger. We cannot do for others what we are unwilling to do for ourselves. It is time for us to do for ourselves what we wanted someone else to do for us before. We didn't trust ourselves to do it safely, and we didn't trust ourselves to hold our promise, but now we can. Now we can know that if we say that we will, because we said we would. And we are women of our word. We are people of our word. There is no necessity for us to determine or distinguish ourselves based on our sex, on our gender. It is time for us to just be us, for the sake of it. It is time to stand strong and proud and be persecuted for what we have to say, or what we have not said. It is not for us to stand stoically watching, allowing others to be killed or hurt or persecuted or punished, in the name of keeping the laws the same, laws that weren't working, systems that have fallen down and are broken. We are still maintaining simply through our silence. It is time for us to no longer be silent in order for us to be all that we can be. It is time for us to honor all those who died, by honoring ourselves in the present moment, by becoming all of who we can be, by stopping hiding, by stop perpetuating exactly what they wanted to have perpetuated, the fear of greatness. It's no longer acceptable for us to hide from ourselves. It is time for us to rise, and it is time for us to rise together. It is time for the rising tide to lift all boats. Be part of the wave. You're being invited. You don't have to get smashed down by it, because you've been invited to the front lines. We are frontline soldiers right now. Souls that have chose to be here at the turning point in collective consciousness. Turning point in history. We have chose to be here now for a reason. Our bodies are changing from being 3D to being 5D. We are moving into a crystalline DNA structure that is actually being activated and awakened right now, which is why there are so many ascension symptoms. This is the first time in our history where we are able to rise without falling, without losing the meat suit. We are able to transcend. The dinosaurs couldn't, they were too dense. Other civilizations couldn't because they were too dense, but we can now. Our bodies have been attuned to the vibration that is coming into play now, and it is our opportunity to change ourselves on a DNA level. On a cellular level, we must change ourselves in order to be ready, in order to ride the wave into the new world. We don't need to get crushed by it, but we will if we try to resist. If we resist the pain and think that it's us, we take something personally that is just collective. There are energies that we are each channeling and transmuting right now, and our bodies are taking the toll for it. We don't need to feel fearful of the pain that we are full of if we are, because ultimately it is just about grounding it. It is about sending it into the mother, the ultimate mother who is here for all of us. She supports all of us. Mother Gaia is her name. Planet Earth is what she's called. We are here with her now. She has a heartbeat. She has a pulse, as do we. If we can connect with hers, if we can breathe ourselves into the present moment to be present enough to connect with the heartbeat of the earth, we will be in a completely different form to what we currently are. And that is exactly what we were made to be and do. So do it. Get present. Get yourself grounded. And when you fear being persecuted for standing in your power, realize that there were women and men who were persecuted for standing in their power even when it wasn't for them. Even when it wasn't their power, they just bought into someone else's vision so hard that they were willing to fall for it. We don't need to fall for anyone else's BS. We just need to create our own. Be intentional about the belief systems that you are allowing to rule your inner kingdom. Be intentional about what BS you allow to govern your inner systems. What's the rule book you are playing by, and how is it serving you? Ask yourself these questions and be willing to find something better if you feel that what you are giving your attention to isn't working. No longer do you need to feel that you need to play small in order to fit in. No longer is it acceptable for you to be less than you are meant to be simply because someone else is uncomfortable with your greatness, because they're uncomfortable with their own. No longer is it acceptable for us to be less than we are, simply to fit into a system that is broken. It is time for us to fix it by fixing us first. Not fixing us from a perspective of being broken. Fixing in terms of gluing all of the pieces that are already there together back in stronger formation, in a way that's going to sustain us in the times to come. Puzzle pieces that have been taped or glued back together are far stronger than ones that have just been placed. Same with glass. Same with all structures. Everything is made stronger when it has been ripped apart at its seams and stitched back together. You have the opportunity to do that with your inner world right now. I hope that you will. And I hope that you'll choose me as your guide by joining a space where misfits fit. It's a Facebook community I started to make sure that none of us have to do this alone. Join a space where misfits fit on Facebook. Link with me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm at laura.je.hamilton, like my name, and my website is the same, laurajehamilton.com or ljeh.ca, because I am the Canadian life coach. With an alternative approach, we've got exciting things happening, and it is time to wrap this up. Be willing to stand for what you believe in, or you will fall for anything. Be willing to stand for yourself, because if you won't, who will? And connect at a space where misfits fit. I look forward to seeing you there. Introduce yourself, share some of your story, and let me know what heroic journey you are on right now, because you're on one. I look forward to hearing about it. Laura J. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you.